Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. I want to take just a minute before we get started today to just say thank you to all of you that have subscribed, all of you that have left comments that have just been wonderful, and really just feeling blessed by all of you that are trying to help me grow my channel. So I really do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to do our fifth set of alternatives for the July 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Sweeter With You. Here are the 8 cards that you could have made if you had done them as intended. But as you all know, we don't do things around here as intended, so let's go ahead and get started with some alternatives. So the first one that we're going to do today, we're going to start with a white card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I've got somewhere a piece of white, I thought, for the inside. Where did my piece of white run away to? Interesting. Let me see. Maybe I picked it up in my... Nope, that's not it. Okay, well, that's all right. I've got one right here. Here we go. So here's a piece of white for the inside. And we're actually going to turn these this way so I don't get confused. I have half of a card base, one of the green card bases that I cut down to 5 by 4 1/4. And we're going to put this on the front there. So let's find here my seal. And we'll go ahead and get this down. This is going to be a pretty simple card, the first one here. Just kind of trying to use the stuff that came in the kit. So we're going to use that up to the best of our ability. So there's the front. This is a piece of one of the envelope flaps that I cut off. This piece is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And we're going to put it just down the center of our card here. Oops, wrong tape. Let's try this one. I had to dig out some old tape when I didn't think I had any seal left, but I was doing some cleaning and I found a seal refill. And trust me, I was so happy. Okay, so let's get this just centered, basically left to right here, top to bottom. I just want to be as close to the center as I can get. There we go. Okay, now I've got a piece here that I cut out using the Wanted to Say dies, which I thought I had out, but now I don't see them. See what happens when you clean? I end up putting things away and then I don't know what I've done with them. That's just crazy. Anyway, the back of this, the background is Bubble Bath and the front is Granny Apple Green. So I cut this out. We're going to use this as our sentiment. I've got one of these large pink strawberries that came in the kit. So we're going to put that down, something like that. And I've got one little flower here that we're going to put on. And now I'm going to take I have some green thread here. And I'm going to take a piece of that. I've already cut this off. I mean, I don't know how long this is. I just kind of wrapped some around my fingers. So it's like 26... It's probably like 2.5 feet here. And I'm just going to take it and just wrap it around my fingers, just like this. And then I want to kind of scoot it off, and I'm going to pinch it in the middle so that we kind of have a makeshift mess. How's that? Actually, we kind of want a makeshift bow. Let's put our ends down here. There we go. So something like this. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put our sentiment down. I've got something on my glass mat, some sticky. And somehow I want to put this. So I don't know. We just want to kind of put it up here. I thought maybe the first I was thinking we could put it under our thing, but I don't think I really like that. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piece of a glue dot, a mini glue dot, and I'm going to kind of attach this to a glue dot. And we're going to try to get this onto some adhesive here. Okay. Without losing our shape. Okay. So we're going to take this. We still got our ends there. We can bring down here, and we'll trim this long one off here in just a minute. So I'm thinking strawberry there. I'm actually going to put that down before we work with our little piece of ribbon here, or string or yarn or whatever this is. I'm trying to decide. I just don't know where I want this. I'm going to put it here for now. I may end up moving that here. We'll see what we think. All right, I'm going to take another glue dot, kind of roll that off and see if I can get this to stick together. I can get it off my finger. It's stuck to my finger. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. I'm thinking that this isn't working. Hang on a second. Let me try again. I'll be all right. That glue dot didn't work. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna wind it back up. I'm going to, there's the glue dot that stuck to it. All right, I'm gonna pinch this off my fingers here, maybe. Okay. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around here so we can try to keep it so it stays together. There we go. Now, I think it'll be easier if we take our, let me see if I can find my tweezers. Let's see. Here we go. Sometimes you can use your tweezers here to kind of be a third hand, I guess. So I can take this and put this in here and see how it'll hold that together. So I'm going to hold that together while I kind of tie a knot here so that our little bow stays together. There we go. Perfect. All right. Now we can kind of adjust this here now that it's not going to fall apart on us. Okay. So we're just pull out our ends here, kind of, okay. I'll get this one back over here. Straighten that one out. So the loops are kind of, there we go, even. Okay, now I think we can take our glue dot and put it down. That looks much better. Okay, so I'm going to take your pick tool and roll one of these glue dots off of here. I think I'm going to put it right there. We can always move it if we decide that's not where we want it. There we go. Perfect. All right. I'm just going to trim these ends up just a little bit here so they're not just quite so long. Perfect. Okay. Now, we're going to take our sentiment here and I'm going to put it in right here. I'm going to put it up on some dimensionals so we can kind of sneak our ribbon in and it not be too much in the way. So let's just put some dimensionals on the back of this. Put a couple of big ones there. We'll put one here and one here. Okay. And maybe one here. I think we need one more. All right. Come on. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put one more right here just so it doesn't fall. Okay. In the middle there. All right. So we're going to get this up on here. Get our little things out of the way. I just want to put this like right there. So kind of hanging over the strawberry. Just like that. Okay. Now, I've got our one little flower here that we can put down with some liquid glue. And I'm just going to put a couple of dots of glue here. And we'll put this right here. Just like that. Okay, perfect. Now, on the inside, we're going to stamp in Garden Green. So I've got You're Too Kind on the outside, and I'm going to do Thank You on the inside. So I took the thank you from, I think it was from the actual stamp set. If not, it might have been last month's stamp set. But we're going to go ahead and ink this up. And try not to get ink everywhere. Okay, alright, and we'll go ahead and get this down. Something like that. Hopefully that's semi-straight. Perfect, thank you. Okay, and we'll put our ink away. We'll get this on the inside and we'll be done with the first one. Very quick. Easy to use when you know the kits come with a lot of components that you don't have to do too much work to use. It makes the cards go really fast. So we'll get this one down in here, and there's our card. We could use some bling though. Let's put some bling on it. Let's give it some shine. So I've got some Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink gems, and I think I'm going to use the clear ones down here. That we're going to go ahead and get, let's see, we're going to do a big one. I think we can put one right in the middle of our little flower here, just too cute. And we'll do another one up here, and then a little one, maybe like right here. There we go. And I just made that card. That finishes it up nicely. Okay, we're going to get this one out of the way and we'll move on to our second one. So our second one is a little more intensive than our first one. So again, we've got a piece of white, 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. Piece of white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got a couple of pieces out of the kit here that we're going to use, and I've got some black strips. So let's, this card's actually going to go this way, and so let's turn that way so I don't get confused. I've got, what do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black strips that are, get this out of the way. They're 1 inch by 4, so 1 by 4. And we're going to take these and we're going to put these down the front of our card here. So I'm going to take these and put some seal on them. And then we'll maneuver them onto the front so that they're even. So just let me get seal on all 5 of them here. Okay, now I'm going to start with the bottom and then one at the top, and then we'll work toward the middle. So I know that just by dry fitting these on here earlier that I don't need much of a border at the bottom. So I'm going to try to do the same border left to right and leave the scantest of borders down here at the bottom. And I'm going to do the same thing here with the top one. And notice I'm not pushing these down hard, so I'm basically just laying them on here so that we can get the spacing down before I push them down for good. So this one needs to go a tad bit that way. Okay, so now we're going to start that way. And now we'll move to the next one. So again, there's very little room for our in-between. So we'll try like that. And then we'll put this one here. And if it turns out the spacing's not right, we can move them. Because they're not. So it looks like we have a little wiggle room for movement. Okay, so let's move this one up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. We'll get this one in here. And then we can move this one down just a little. So it gave us a little bit more border than I thought we'd have. So that's good. Alright, so that looks pretty even. Straighten this one up just the littlest bit. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to give them a good push down. Okay, now from here we've got a piece of vellum that came in the kit. Now with the vellum here, when I was taking it out of what it was in, I had to punch this out. It kind of got caught and it ripped a little bit. So we're going to have to try to cover that up. And you know what they say, there's no mistakes in card making or paper crafting, but always rooms for embellishment. So we're going to make sure we get something put on top of that so it doesn't show. So I'm going to take our little piece of vellum here and I'm just kind of going to tilt it just at a little tiny angle there. So I want to put that on then. So we'll put this on next. We're going to take our liquid glue and we're going to use this with a very, very faint line of glue just around the edges, because we don't want our glue to show through our vellum if we can help it. So I'm just putting the smallest amount that I think I can get away with and have it still stick. And just on the very edges. Okay, one more side. Alright, so let's go ahead. And I need to put my piece where it was torn up in this upper corner here. Alright, there it is. Alright. So we're going to get that down just like that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and burnish this down. Now, hopefully when that glue dries, it shouldn't show. We didn't use very much. Okay. Now, next piece we're going to do is we have one of the baskets, one of the little fruit baskets that came in the kit. And is there one? It almost looks like there's two, but nope, just one. Okay, so we're going to put this down here. So we'll go ahead and put that on. Going to use some seal on this, and we'll go ahead and put this down. Now I want this straight, even though our vellum piece is crooked. I want this straight, so I'm going to line that up just like with the line right here where we had our little gap between our black pieces. And actually I needed to stamp on that, so let's, before we do too much more, I'm going to stamp on this. I'm just going to put just the note. And we're going to use Poppy Parade. So let's go ahead and use our, let me find a block here. And we'll get our just a note on here. Oops, that's something on my block. Okay, come on. Well. It doesn't want to come up off the glass mat. There we go. So just a note is what we're going to put. I'm going to do this in Poppy Parade. And we'll go ahead and just right in the middle here. Perfect. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is put in some of our berries here. So I'm going to just peel that up just the tiniest bit so I can slide our berries on under there. Just going to put a tad bit of glue on here. I want to start with the pink one. We're going to put the pink one in the middle. Okay, so something like that. We'll get this one to the side here. Just like that. which almost covers up our, there we go. If we do it right, we can get our little leaves to cover up our little boo-boo there. And get this one over here, just like that. Okay, so all looks good. All right, now, next we're going to do our little white flowers here on the outside of our thing here. So let's, little bit of glue. So I'm going to put one of these right up here. And another one. Let's see, where else? Put one there. And we'll put one, I don't know, maybe here. Okay, so there's, oops, stay down. There we go. Okay, now we're going to also put on the inside of our card, we're going to put, so we've got just a note on the outside. We're going to do thinking of you on the inside. So let me get another little block here. See if I can get this on straight. And we'll get this down. Oops, well that didn't work. Let's try that again. Flip that over. Just like that. Okay, perfect. All right, we're going to put the ink away. And then I'm going to get this on the inside of our card. And we will be done. Alright, so we're going to get this down just like that. Okay. Put some more shimmies on it here. So let's get some of our, let's see. I'm thinking we can use these pink ones, these strawberry slush ones. So we'll get that. I'm just going to put them right in the middle of our flowers. Just there. And one more down here. Perfect. Okay. And there is our card. So cute. All right, so there's the two that we have for today. So, go ahead and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified when I upload my next video. So I've got, I think, 3 more sets of alternatives for this kit, and we've got some painterly pears on the way, so stay tuned and you'll see what we've got for that. All right, that's all I have for today. Everybody have a crafty day. Thanks. Bye.